Motivational space. You have got guys training 6 days a week like it is their second job, posting selfies, no days off, embrace the grind. Then there's that one guy, trains 3 days a week, 5 exercises total, leaner and stronger every single month. He's on Instagram posting no days off, looking energetic, looking dedicated. But zoom out and you see the dark circles, the exhausted body language, the gap between what he shows and what is actually happening. 3 days a week. That's it. That's the whole training schedule. And somehow this guy is getting leaner and stronger every month while the 6-day grinder beside him is stuck in the same body going backwards from burnout. So here's the real question. Is the 3-day guy lazy, or does he just know exactly what to ignore? Because there's a massive difference between those two things, and most people never figure it out. Training a muscle 2 to 3 times per week, that is the sweet spot for growth. Your body gets enough stimulus to grow and enough recovery to actually do it. Research backs this up completely. Too little training and your muscles have no reason to grow. Too much and your recovery cannot keep up. But hit that 2 to 3 times per week window and your body responds exactly the way you want it to. That zone is where results actually live. Here's something that changes how you think about training volume. 12 sets is 12 sets, whether you do them across 3 days or spread across 6. Your muscle does not care which days you showed up. It only cares about the total weekly stimulus. When training starts feeling like a meeting you cannot skip, that's the problem. Not the program, not the exercises, the fact that you dread showing up. Easy to lose motivation when training feels like punishment. Pull-ups are not just a back exercise. The moment you grab that bar, your lats fire, your biceps engage, your forearms work. Your core braces to stabilize everything. One movement, your entire upper body working together. Pull-ups, push-ups, dips, squats, rows. 4 to 6 movements. That is genuinely everything your body needs to grow. Research shows compound programs build as much muscle as programs loaded with extra isolation work. Dips are one of the most underrated compound movements alive. Your chest is pressing, your triceps are extending, your shoulders are stabilizing through the entire range. 3 major muscle groups from one clean movement. That's why compound training is so efficient. The squat hits more muscle in one movement than almost anything else. Quads driving you up, glutes firing at the top, hamstrings controlling the descent, core bracing the whole time. 4 muscle groups, 1 exercise, done.
15 variations in one session. That is not smart training. That is just noise disguised as effort. Pick 4 to 6 compound movements. Get genuinely strong at them. That is the whole program. Variations are for progression, not variety. Find the version that matches your current level. Get strong at it, then move to the harder one. That is how you actually progress, not by doing 15 different things because you saw it on YouTube. 3 to 5 minutes between sets. That looks lazy from the outside. Guys timing their rest thinking you are wasting time. But you are actually fully recovered before the next set, which means you lift heavier and progress faster. Full recovery between sets creates a chain reaction. You lift heavier than you could with short rest. Heavier means more mechanical tension on the muscle. More tension means a stronger growth signal. Longer rest is not laziness. It is the actual mechanism for getting stronger. You are at the park looking completely unbothered between sets, walking around, breathing normally. Meanwhile, everyone else is rushing their next set, still exhausted. You look the most relaxed person there, because you are the one actually recovering properly. Plot two strength graphs side by side over 6 months. The guy rushing his rest periods plateaus early. The guy taking full rest keeps climbing week after week. Patience in your rest periods is a long game advantage, and the long game is the only one worth playing. 10 to 20 sets per muscle group per week. That is the optimal range backed by research. Below that, and you are leaving growth on the table. Above that, and you are just accumulating fatigue. You are not growing faster, you are just more tired. 5 sets of pull-ups, 5 sets of chin-ups, 3 sets of rows. Do that 2 to 3 times per week. That is over 30 sets for your back alone. Way too much. Your recovery cannot keep up with that volume. 12 to 15 sets per week builds the same muscle with half the damage. 4 to 8 hard sets per session, each one close to failure. That's it. Stop there. Even when your ego is telling you to keep going, especially when your ego is telling you to keep going. 5 to 15 reps per set, close to failure. Not sloppy failure, controlled close to failure. That is the entire rep range prescription for muscle building. Everything else is just noise around this simple truth. HIIT, sprint intervals, jump squats, burpees, gasping for air like you're drowning. Or you could just walk, get your steps in, never feel completely wrecked, and your fat loss results will be the same. Here's what HIIT actually does to your body. It cranks your stress hormones through the roof, makes you genuinely hungry afterwards. Then you eat back the calories you just burned. Walking does none of that. The fat just quietly leaves.
Walk every single day. Nothing intense, nothing that destroys you, just movement that accumulates over the week. Daily walking can swing your total weekly calorie burn by thousands without the mental and physical tax of intense cardio. The worst feeling in fitness is dreading your next session before the current one is even finished. HIIT does that to people. Walking never does. You can do it every day for years without ever dreading it once. Walk at a pace where you can hold a conversation, but not a completely comfortable one. Slightly labored, slightly warm. That is the fat-burning zone that you can sustain indefinitely. That is enough. Genuinely enough. Look at someone who does HIIT consistently. Then look at their training calendar. Gaps everywhere from soreness and burnout. Now look at the walking calendar. Green checkmark every single day. That consistency is the advantage. Your muscles do not grow in the gym. They get broken down in the gym. They grow when you sleep, when your body releases growth hormone, when your nervous system gets to fully recover. You are tracking your pre-workout timing down to the minute. Your post-workout shake is ready, your macros are perfect, your supplement stack is organized. But you were sleeping 5 hours, and that one thing is undoing literally everything else. Poor sleep does 3 things simultaneously: reduces muscle protein synthesis, elevates cortisol, which eats muscle tissue, and drops testosterone, which you need to build and keep muscle. 7 to 8 hours is not a recommendation, it is a requirement. It is 2 a.m. You are doom scrolling Instagram, looking at other people training, while your body is just sitting there waiting for you to sleep so it can actually do its job. The gains are ready. You are the one holding them up. The guy training 6 days and sleeping 5 hours, he's getting half the results of the guy sleeping 8, despite twice the training sessions. Sleep quality beats training quantity every single time. This is the most overlooked edge in fitness, and almost nobody uses it. Mantis sleep is the only sleep mask people consistently say is actually 100% blackout. The eye cups sit over your eyes, not on them.
no pressure, no discomfort. It stays on all night, even if you move around, and your muscles grow at 2 a.m. when you are genuinely knocked out. Most sleep masks let light through the edges. Your brain detects it, stays half alert. You wake up feeling like you slept 4 hours even when you slept 8. Full blackout changes the quality of every single hour of sleep. Better sleep quality, better muscle growth, every night. Your body does its best muscle building work between midnight and 3 a.m. Growth hormone peaks. Protein synthesis runs at full capacity. That only happens in deep, uninterrupted sleep. Use code YELLOW for 10% off. Link is in the description. Your gains happen here.
2 approaches, 2 completely different outcomes. Approach A, 6 days training, hard cardio, restrictive eating, burns out at 3 months and loses everything gained. Approach B, 3 days, simple food, daily walks, years of steady progress. One of these requires way more discipline long-term. Approach A feels harder in the moment. More sessions, more suffering, more sacrifice, but it ends. Every single time it ends. At 3 months, the motivation crashes, the body breaks down, the results stop, and people quit. Approach B does not feel like discipline from the outside. 3 days a week looks easy. Simple eating looks lazy. Daily walks look like nothing. But showing up consistently for years without burning out, that is the hardest thing in fitness. The hardest moment in smart training is when you have to stop, when your ego says keep going, when everyone else is still grinding, when stopping feels like weakness, but doing only what works and nothing more, that is the real discipline. Grind culture has a boom and bust pattern. Hard for a few months, crash, start over. Hard again, crash again. The smart minimal approach just keeps climbing. No crashes, no resets, just consistent upward progress year after year. Instagram makes it look like suffering is the goal. More sessions, more intensity, more sacrifice. But that one quiet guy is just doing what works, not performing fitness, not posting for validation, just training smart and getting results while everyone else chases noise. 1 year of smart minimal training. No burnout episodes, no injury setbacks, no motivation crashes. Just steady, consistent progress that compounds into something genuinely impressive. You are going to hit this moment where your ego says add more and your results say stay the course. Listening to your results over your ego is harder than any workout, but it is the decision that separates people who transform from people who just train. There is a quiet confidence that comes from doing only what works. You do not need to perform effort. You do not need to suffer publicly. You just show up, do the work, recover, repeat, and the results speak for themselves without you saying a word. 6 things, that's the entire system. Train 2 to 3 times per week, compound movements only, full rest between sets, 10 to 20 sets per muscle per week, walk daily, sleep 8 hours, nothing else needed. Give it a few months. The grinder will be in the same body or worse. You will be noticeably leaner and stronger, not because you worked harder, because you worked smarter and never stopped. Doing less is not laziness. Knowing exactly what to ignore and having the discipline to ignore it, that is harder than any 6-day training split. Do only what works, nothing more. That's the whole secret.